Hi, okay, now that we've done a lot of different types of exploratory analysis and we're starting to have a good idea of what the specific data story that we want to tell is, it is a great idea to build an analysis plan. So an analysis plan is another type of material that you want to use when telling a data story for your background support, just like your data catalog and your data biography. A solid analysis plan helps you work really efficiently. It helps you stay in communication with your team so that you all can stay on the same page. It also does a great job of keeping you from getting overwhelmed, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed when working with data in the early days. Your analysis plan includes the following. The first, a clear goal about your data analysis. What question are you really trying to answer? Second, the names and details about each one of the variables that you're going to use. The third is the key relationships that you're going to explore from the most simple to the most complex. And make sure you include all of them, not just the one or two big ones. The next is what questions you're trying to answer with each one of your relationship analysis. So what exactly are you trying to understand about the relationships with your data each time you're doing a piece of analysis? And then the last is a list of any statistical tests that you might want to use to test the strength of these relationships. So for example, with our emerging story, we are going to be asking the question, how are immigrant students doing in school in terms of a sense of belonging and math achievement? And how are those things related to how many other immigrant students there are in the school? And the variables that we're going to be using are whether or not someone's an immigrant. And for the purposes of this, it looks like we're going to probably talk about first-generation immigrants and all other students. And we want to know that for the individual student, and we also want to know the proportion for the individual schools. We want to know a math score, and we also want to know their sense of belonging. We also want to know what country they're in. So I want each of these variables to be available to me in my Tableau workbook or the R environment or an SPSS or Excel, whatever it is that I'm using to do my analysis. And the list of relationships that I'm going to look at starts from the simplest. So the first thing I want to look at is just how is math achievement distributed, how is a sense of belonging distributed, and how is the proportion of immigrant students distributed. And then I'm going to take it to the two-way relationships, the three-way relationships, all the way up to the multivariate relationships, such as in which countries are individual students who are immigrants, who are in schools with very few immigrants, how are they doing in a sense of belonging and relationship? This is the analysis that I need to answer that question. And for me, the statistical test I'm going to use to evaluate the strength of that will probably be a t-test or an ANOVA. And we've included in your course materials a link from UCLA to a great way to figuring out which statistical test you want to use. That's also a really good place to get some help from a data scientist or one of the statistical services that are offered at low or no cost to data journalists. So an analysis plan, just like a data biography and a data catalog, takes a little bit of work up front, but it saves you tons of time and helps you build a more solid, dependable, and effective data story.